Welcome to Staging the Third Act. I'm your host, Jeaninne. This show is about boomers, by boomers, and for boomers. But the caveat is without children. And that's because this show is for people who are navigating their third act on their own, doing incredible, fantastic, creative things. And I'm excited for my first guest, or not, actually she's my third guest, Kathryn Shields. And the theme today is Wonder All Around, Finding the Magic and the Beauty. And we're going to find out Kathryn's story. She was a teacher, a nurse, she's a musician and an author. And we're going to find out all the exciting things of her life and what led up to who she is now and how she navigates and inspires. The key here is how she inspires others and keeps reinventing herself. So without further ado, I would like to introduce Kathryn Shields.
Thank you for having me here today. I'm really excited to be able to do your show.
Well, when I met you, I saw you at the writing, at our Saturday, what was that?
Open mic.
Open mic. And I saw you up there and I said, oh my gosh, this woman is a catalyst. She's a firecracker. I have to have her on my show. And the reason is, again, we'll go back to the theme, and the theme is, would you please restate the theme for today?
The theme is Wonder All Around, which is the name of my business, which I'll tell you about a little later. And it's kind of finding the magic in life. The world as it is today is so difficult, and especially for us older people who are alone, basically. And how do we keep working with ourselves? How do we keep going? How do we keep inspiring?
Absolutely, that is the word, inspiration, and that's what I saw in you. You like the inspiration in others.
Yes.
And you are that person. And then when I got to know your story and I found out about your nursing background, your teaching background, and the fact that you're a musician, a writer, I went, that makes sense. So, you can't come to where you are in life now without an incredible history in life. And you told me something that really, really resonated in me, and I thought, I think the viewers need to know, and that is you had a near-death experience. And I think it's important for you to share that because it has molded who you are now.
That's absolutely correct. It has molded everything from my life when it happened up until this point today.
Exactly.
Back in 1978, I had a massive stroke, but I was young. And so when I was taken to the hospital, they didn't know what was the matter with me. They diagnosed me as having the flu. But I kept getting worse instead of better. And one day I slipped into a neurological coma. And that is when they sent me down to Roosevelt Hospital, which was the only hospital at that time with a CAT scanner. And they found the massive bleed, and they went in, they did brain surgery. Now, during that point where I went into a coma, I had a death experience.
Wow.
Yes. And many people say they go through a long black tunnel and they see that. I did not experience that. What I experienced was a light all around me. I was at peace, sleeping in a cloud with light surrounding me. I opened my eyes and the light was dazzling. And I perceived that light as being God. And during that time that I was in such wonderful peace, I heard the voice, "It is not your time yet. You have to go back down and do my work." And I said, I don't want to go back down. I like it here. But as it happened, I went down, back down, and I woke up and I was in the hospital post-brain surgery. Okay. All of that I recuperated from, and from that experience, I decided to go into nursing school because the nurses were incredible.
Let me just stop you for a second, back off, because that's so seminal. That is so like a turning point in your life.
Oh, definitely.
And you kind of just whooshed us through it. I want to go back just one tick back. Was that during surgery, before surgery, after surgery? What point did you actually go through that near-death experience?
I would say that I went through it right before surgery. I do not exactly know because when I woke up from it all, the surgery was already done.
Okay.
But I perceive it as being sometime at the point where I slipped into the coma,
Okay.
and then they did surgery.
So you were in a coma.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I was in a coma. And the light and the peace and the beauty and everything in that experience was so incredible and wonderful.
So you actually felt, you're one of the few people that has been documented that has gone through that, who has said, I don't fear death anymore.
Oh no.
So do you feel like that you really had that experience where you came out of it going, oh, if that's death, I'm not afraid?
Yes.
Okay.
And not only that, it was wonderful. See, we don't know what's on the other side. We don't know. And then if I saw a glimpse of what's on the other side during that period of time when I had that experience, it's a wonderful, wonderful feeling of peace and beauty and light, being surrounded by the light.
So you came out of it and you said, my time, I'm meant to do something important.
Mm-hmm.
That's when you decided to go into nursing.
Correct.
Okay, so
That's when I decided in nursing. From there, I went into nursing school and I became a nurse, and I did my duty as a nurse, and I worked with all sorts of people, and I had some incredible experiences as a nurse too.
I bet, and I bet, I would assume, because I don't know anything about those years, but I would assume that that touch with, call it God, higher power, whatever your religions are and how you see it, gave you maybe even more compassion in a sense of duty to that person, so that you probably were, I would assume that you were probably one of the better nurses
Well, thank you.
for that.
Yeah, I hope
From that experience.
I hope I was, because I used that experience quite a bit in my own relationship and my own relating to the patients that I had.
Because that essence of you, when I first saw you, I felt that essence like somebody, like those glitter guns that go boom and all the glitter comes out. That's kind of the vibe that I got from you.
Thank you.
And so you did, then when you told the story at another open mic, you told the story about a nun that had come to you. Was this near when you were retiring, close to retirement?
No, this was actually right in the middle of my nursing career.
Okay. Tell us, this story, when you told this story open mic a few months ago, I literally got goosebumps all over my body, and I left that day. I felt like I had a spiritual experience. It was so beautiful, and I would like the viewers to hear this story.
I thought it was very beautiful too. I was basically an intensive care nurse, and that particular night, intensive care, thank goodness that we had some nights that weren't filled up with people in the intensive care. So they asked me to go and work out on the medical floor. And working on the medical floor, I had as one of my patients a beautiful nun. And she was located, she was from our nun off on Maidu Drive. She was on the Maidu nun place. What do they call them?
Convent.
Convent. Thank you.
The nun place. I like that. The nun place.
She was from the convent over on Maidu. And she was near death, and I knew it. And she knew it too. So that particular night that I was working on the medical floor, I went in and I took absolute care of her and rubbed her back and got her all ready for bed and positioned her in a wonderful position, made sure she had water, did all my nursing things, and then I had to go take care of my other patients. Well, I was coming back later from taking care of my other patients, and I noticed the light on in this nun's room. And I go, I don't remember leaving the light on in her room. As a matter of fact, I thought I turned it off. So I walked down to to her room, and as I looked into her room, the light wasn't on. She was passing on. And what I was seeing was the incredible beauty of her, the light of her soul moving up. And that lit up the whole entire room. And I just stood there in such awe because this woman must have been an incredible person. And pretty soon, the light intensified and then it faded. And then the light went out and the room was dark. And I felt so extremely blessed being able to see that. And the goodness that she must have done in the world to have her soul, is what I like to call it, light up like that on her death. Because that doesn't happen with everybody.
And I'm sure, I want to believe that you were meant to witness that.
I think so too.
I really want to believe that.
I think so too. I think I was meant to witness this because the incredible inspiration that she gave me just looking at that, watching that, it gave me the courage to know that there is something beyond whatever's going on here at Earth.
And that experience you had as a young woman, where you got the message, you're not done. I believe that our destinies are preordained and that we have to go through a lot of hardship to learn a lot of lessons.
I totally agree.
And if we're good people, we will know what those lessons are, and we'll learn from those lessons, and we will learn through grief, through loss, through a lot of things that be patient.
Be patient.
Be patient.
It strengthens us. It lets us know that even though we are, quote, quote, alone, not having children, not having husband, that type of thing, we are really never alone.
Yeah.
The universe is all around us.
Yes.
The universe supports us even though we don't necessarily know we're being supported.
Therefore, wonder all around.
Yes.
The theme of your book, which we'll get to soon, and the magic and the beauty, which I think you are. I think you're magical, and I think you're beautiful, and I think that you are the catalyst, one of the people that nun wanted to share her soul and say, keep going, take this, keep moving, keep spreading. And that's the tenet of this show. I want to bring in people like you that are doing that, and that we don't, even though we don't have progeny and we don't have people that are going to continue to carry on our spirit, we do affect other people that will continue to carry on.
That's correct.
And,
I believe that too.
And it's all interconnected. It's all related. And I think that's just so exciting. And thank you for bringing back that thread of, you just said it, we're not, people that are watching that I feel alone. I'm scared. I feel sometimes alone without having children to take care of me.
Yeah.
When I get way into my third act. And I think, I talk to people like you and you go, no. I've had universal spiritual messages and they keep coming. And I'm taking them and putting them in a book, and I'm sharing them with readers and people. I'm so active. You're so active in your life. So tell us more about how you're spreading your inspiration.
Okay. What I have done recently, I retired 3 years ago, and what I have done recently in my third act is I have put together a little business called Wonder All Around. And the basis of Wonder All Around is to try to find the beauty and the magic and the spiritual and the good in this world that can easily drag us down. Now, I'm not saying that I don't get dragged down sometimes. I do. Sometimes you listen to all the stuff that is going on and it becomes overwhelming.
It does.
But you have to go to or find a place in yourself that says, I can be at peace with the beauty that there is around me.
Absolutely.
And what I do with Wonder All Around is as I photograph beauty that I see around me. And I make little cards that I actually just pass out, and sometimes I leave them with my tips in the restaurants and things like that. Just little inspirational cards
That's wonderful.
that have a sweet saying of something beautiful that is happening in my life that you can see in your life. And here's something interesting that happened just the other day.
I love this.
I was visiting the pet store because I have a cat and I love my cat and I had to get cat food, okay? And as I got the cat food, I looked at the betta fish. And I don't like the betta fish in those little cups. It really kind of upsets me about that. But this one betta fish, mind you, I've never had a fish, this one betta fish came to the edge of the cup and he yelled at me, "Take me home." Well, guess what? I did. Now, I didn't have a tank. I didn't have anything to put him in. So I put him in a bowl until I got the tank. Okay, but here is my betta fish.
Beautiful. Want to show the camera?
Actually,
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
This is my betta fish. This is Sunny. Okay, now I have used Sunny as a inspiration for different types of saying, like magic, inspiration, create. And I take these pictures of Sunny through the tank, and he just poses for me because he loves it. So that's just one little story of different types of magic that happens to me. I can go along and I can see mushrooms growing. Magic. Film that for my Wonder All Around. Then, Wonder All Around became the name of how I am going to publish my book.
Oh.
I tried for many, many years unsuccessfully to try to find an agent, to try to find somebody to print my book, to try to find a publishing company that would accept my book. And I got to saying, you know something, I'm getting old here, and I really want to put this book out to inspire. It's basically a young person's book from age 9 to about 14, but all the adults that have read it like it too. So,
Well, that's the mark of a good children's book, because if you have a universal message, then it reaches more than just children, it reaches everyone.
yes,
So,
yeah.
that's important.
So basically what I have done is I have turned Wonder All Around into an actual business with an actual business license. And I am publishing my book through Wonder All Around, and it is called On the Point of a Star.
Beautiful illustration.
Isn't that pretty?
It really catches the eye.
This is a book for young people about two young girls who are both musicians, and I put a lot of my musical background into this too. Two young musicians who come together to form a singing, playing duo, and they play Appalachian country music, and they are going to play for the Grand Ole Opry. So that's what my book is about, and it's coming soon. I think it will probably be here, hopefully.
On the Point of a Star, it's called.
Yes, On the Point of a Star. And I hopefully think that it will be here within the next 2 months or so.
And I think Phil can put up your email address at the end if
Yes.
people want to get a hold of you to find out more about the book. Is that correct? Thank you. Because, yes, what a great... And so tell us a little bit more about the plot of the story without giving it all away, but about the two girls and what happens.
Okay. Basically, the book focuses on Milana Nicholas, who is a violin prodigy. And she has two very famous parents, and she has toured all over the world with her famous parents. But now her parents have decided to get a divorce, and they have shuttled her off to her artistic aunt's house in rural Gold Run, California. Well, she just hates the country. She doesn't want anything to do with the country. And she has to go to public school. Oh, that's something she's never done in her life. So, in the public school, she meets a young girl named Alexa May King. And Alexa May has come from Tennessee. And she plays banjo. And she sings, and she plays in musical videos, and she writes her own music. And all of a sudden, Milana becomes interested in this young girl. And as the plot goes along, the two of them come together. And they sound and play really good together. So they decide that they're going to stay together and try to play at the Grand Ole Opry.
Oh, that's wonderful.
But during their time together, they have to face different types of problems. They each of them have a family crisis. They each have to face the bullies that they are facing in high school, as freshmen in high school. And they have to face the jealousy of all the people around them who don't necessarily are so jealous of what they're doing that they just give them nothing but grief.
And all of those components are in life everywhere. So
Yes.
that's another universal pull for any reader.
Right.
Which you have to have that universality.
And the idea is basically to hope to inspire young people to, doesn't matter what odds they come up against, just go for your dream.
There you go.
Go for your inspiration. And that goes with us too. I mean, we come with all sorts of problems that we have to face every single day.
Absolutely.
And in doing that facing, we have to know that we have to overcome them.
Mm-hmm.
And how do we overcome these things? Well, you overcome them by having faith that something is going to work out.
Mm-hmm.
Things tend to work themselves out.
Mm-hmm.
And we have to have that faith that it will happen.
Mm-hmm.
We also have to have faith in ourselves that we can overcome whatever odds there are that is there to meet us.
There's a lot of people, though, that don't have your joie de vivre, that don't have that sense of hope. And especially in our age group, because as we age and health issues come in, and there aren't support systems or people with people that don't have family support, how would you counsel, or what kinds of advice would you give to people that are watching this that say, but I don't feel that way, I don't have that kind of confidence that you do, Kathy?
That's a difficult question. I know that within myself, very often, I get into that place too,
Mm-hmm.
where I go, oh, this thing is happening, that thing is happening. I do feel sometimes the lack of not having support group there. The only thing that I can say that may help others is look deep down in yourself and find what is wonderful in you. What have you always wanted to do? Even though you may be in pain or you may have other health-related problems, you can still do many things. You can write, you can do poetry, you can do photography, whatever's inside, deep
And you
inside.
can join groups of people.
That's exactly what I was going to mention too.
Yes.
You can join different groups. There are many groups to join, and the people would be happy to come pick you up and to have you come to the group.
Right.
And I think that's a little bit about how I try to motivate myself and what I might do that would help others. I think you can't always tell people, well, this is what you should do, because
No.
They have to find out what is good for them, what is good for their soul, what is good that makes them happy.
And I don't, excuse me for this, and you can tell me that's too personal, Jeaninne, don't go there, but You didn't have an easy life growing up,
No.
and you had a lot of judgment in your life, and you had to overcome some adversity. So I want the viewers to know that you did not have an idyllic life, and you've worked hard to overcome a lot of things.
That is correct, and some of it I still haven't overcome.
Yeah. So I know you've had a background in theater, and I know that you've had a background, obviously you've had a background in theater. You enunciate words, you have a nice stage presence, you know how to project, you have charisma, that's evident. But you've also come from a very kind of elite family that didn't quite see you as somebody that fit into what they wanted.
That is correct.
And that's hard for kids growing up.
That is very hard for kids growing up. I came from a family who was not poor. We had everything we ever wanted with regard to beautiful clothes, lessons, and I blessed them for the lessons they had because as a child, I was taking all sorts of lessons and I was given that. But I also did not meet up with what they wanted as a child. And some of that I have been able to overcome myself because the successes that I have had in my own life, I have gone, hey, I was told I couldn't do that, and look at me do that. For instance, I was told that I was never smart enough to go to college. Well, okay. I have a master's degree in nursing. I guess I made it through college. But at one point, I did not know that I could do it until I jumped in and did it. And I think that is the way with a lot of people. You may have had some sort of setback in your life, or somebody told you you couldn't do something. Guess what? You can do it.
Well, I taught my students for 36 years. Self-esteem is not what people tell you. It is what you yourself accomplish and say, I did that, I did that, I did that. Not, oh, good job, you're such a good kid, you deserve this.
Yeah.
No, I told my students, they'd say, why is my work not on the wall? Because you're not an A or B student. You want your work on the wall? Work hard for it. I'll put it up. And they go, okay, I want to get up there. Now you deserve to go up on that board.
Exactly.
How does it feel? So, again, you are a walking example of inspiration, of wonder, of delight, of magic and beauty. And I want to thank you so much for coming here today. It's been a pleasure having you. I'm so glad you're my friend.
Thank you.
And I think through the show I'm meeting all kinds of wonderful people and accruing new friends, and it's just an exciting endeavor for me to have this because it's selfish, because I'm getting to connect with people in my tribe. And I just look forward to your book coming out. I look forward to seeing how that's going to, and I know it, and the fact that you do have a music background as well.
Oh, yes.
So you know what you're writing about. You have the music background. You've been a teacher with adolescents, so you know what the kids that you're putting in the characters in your book. So everything just is kind of coalescing into this really nice place for you. And I knew it when I saw you. I said, she's got to be in my show. I knew that you would be somebody really special.
Thank you.
So we have a few minutes left, Kathy, so if you want to say anything before we wrap it up, you can go into that camera. And anything you want to add before our time is up?
Okay, I think the only basic thing that I would like to add is that every single solitary person has the ability to influence and inspire somebody else. Very, very frequently, the people don't even know that they are inspiring or influencing somebody.
Good point.
They don't have an idea at all that somebody is looking at you and saying, wow, I want to do that too. And everybody is like that.
Absolutely.
Everybody influences. Everybody has some little seed of inspiration that they can put and they can give to someone else.
I like that, seed of inspiration. So viewers, thank you again for tuning in to Staging the Third Act. And remember, be that seed of inspiration, because we all are. We all have our journeys and we're all put here for a reason. And I hope you find your seed of inspiration. Thank you. Next time, we're going to have a world-renowned photographer, Eric Lindbergh, so I hope you stay tuned for that.